Hello everybody, it's me RJ here again with another video for you guys. Today we're going to be going over how I got this trolling motor mounted on my Vibe Sea Ghost 110. Okay, so the trolling motor that I have mounted on here is a 30-pound Thrustman Cuda, cheapest one you can get at Walmart. And what I did was remove the head unit, and if you would like to see how to remove that, I have another video on that. I'll put it in the description below, and I'll try to tag it in the video somewhere. So anyway, what I did was remove that. I utilized all these wires and ran them through here. I got me a 4-pin plug, you can see right here, and a plug here, and I mounted the plug in here. And I reused all the wires in here. Some of the people only used the red and the black. I reused everything that the trolling motor originally came with, even the throttle switch. And I'll kind of explain to you how I was able to do that. Alright, what I'm going to try to attempt to do is explain everything from the back of the kayak to the front to show you exactly how I mounted this, all the things I did to make this workable. So what I did here was get some split ring clamps. I got 2 of them, one on the bottom here and one on the top here, and I put them on the shaft of the trolling motor at an angle. And I took these eye bolts and put them in the split ring clamp, and then I took these carabiner clips and used them here, which I'll explain why those are there instead of just tied off here. Now I'm going to show you how I remove the trolling motor from the kayak itself. First thing I'm going to do is take these clamps here and just remove them from the eye bolts. Just slide them off. Then you can loosen up the trolling motor itself and just pull it right off the kayak with no problem. So it's easy to put on and easy to take off. Now that we have the trolling motor off, I'm going to go over the bracket a little bit. So this is aluminum here. You can buy steel. I did steel on the other kayak, just flat steel. It's about maybe 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches wide and very thin, but it is very, very strong. What I did was just kind of measured it out, laid it out, and bent it up this way and bent it this way, and drilled holes in the aluminum itself, and then reused the bolt holes that were already in this handle here, so I didn't have to drill any additional holes in the kayak. I can take this handle and lift the entire kayak with it still without any issues. So that didn't affect that area at all. Now we're at the back of the bracket. What I did was take some metal, some square metal. You can see here. I went and bought it at the hardware store, measured it out, and I cut 2 pieces and put a bolt right through here and a bolt right through here, and then a long bolt that goes through the original hole that the rudder was in. So I didn't have to drill any additional holes back here either. And I just clamped it down. I put a rubber bushing right here to try to help out with some vibration and stability. And this thing does not move anywhere. I can tilt it, try to bend it, and pry it. I also slid some rubber bushings up underneath this bracket on this side and the bracket on that side. Now this looks bent in the video. It's probably because of the way the GoPro films, but this is not bent at all. This is pretty flat from here to here. I did my best to make sure that this angle was just a little bit higher than this right here, so that the bolts would not touch the kayak, because unfortunately the way the bracket is and the way that you have to use this hole, if you want to reuse this hole, it makes these bolt holes line up right with your kayak, and I didn't want those rubbing and touching on the kayak. So that's the reasoning for these bushings and the spaces and this bushing here. And it also helps with a lot of vibration. And this is very, very, very stable. I can't hardly push this left and right and make it wobble. I could actually use this to pick my kayak up. Let me demonstrate that here. without any issue. So if I wanted to use this as a handle, I could, but I don't recommend it. That's what this handle's for. This piece right here, I just made out of PVC board, drilled 3 little holes in it so it sets on top of here, because I didn't want to use a third metal square bracket and make it taller. I just set this on top to make it level, so it blocks the bolts and the nuts from touching the trolling motor bracket when you lay it on top here. It makes it nice and even and nice and flat, and it stays on well. I also took these little pieces of plastic tubing and cut them and put them on the edges of my bracket back here that I made to protect this string, because when I turn, the string is going to rub against the edges of here, so the plastic keeps this string from getting worn out. Now, as far as the cable, I reused the cable that was already on the kayak that was connected to my foot control for the rudder. So we're going to go up front now and come all the way up here, and I'll talk about the pedals. Now, those of you that have the Sea Ghost Vibes, it comes with this mechanism here for the pedals to turn the rudder, so you don't have to push the pedals up and down. The pedals are pretty much stationary. They have a little locking pin right here, so you can move them up and down to where you like them. Sorry about that. And all you have to do is push this piece. Well, that wasn't turning the trolling motor as good as I liked, so I just took the wires, the cable off of this piece, and this piece just pops right out. You just pop it right out. And then I also removed the little locking mechanism on the pedal itself, so that these can move freely up and down with no resistance at all. And I put a little bit of grease on this guide right here so that it slides nice and smooth when you're controlling the trolling motor. And I'll demonstrate that here right now. Okay, so here's the trolling motor. I'm going to go and turn it from left to right so you can see how sharp this turns. One more thing I forgot to mention before going up front and showing you where I ran the wire is I bought a little PVC elbow pipe and just glued it on right here. It's going to be hard to find the exact size. I think 1 inch was too big and 1/2 inch was too small, so I went ahead and bought 1/2 inch, and I had to sand out this elbow in the center to get it to put on. To get it to fit on the shaft, and then I glued it to keep it stationary. And all this is some rubberized plumbing tape, and I wrapped that around here to kind of waterproof around the wiring right here so that no water can get inside here at all. On my Sea Ghost Vibe, it had a little door right here that had a little pocket in there. I removed the pocket, and I used this door to mount the throttle and my little battery gauge. And I can open that up right here and still use the inside of this compartment in here, even with the wiring in there. Let me get a little closer so you can see what I did here. I left enough wire here so that it would be flexible enough and not get pinched, and zip tied it up to the top here so it would stay in place. And I can open and close that without any worry about destroying those wires. So what I did was bought me a little knob here, and I reused the throttle mechanism. I'm not sure the proper name, but I'm just going to call it a throttle mechanism that was inside the head unit of the trolling motor. So I reused all the wires, and unfortunately I didn't have the same color wires that came out of the trolling motor, so that's the reason for the yellow tape. And then over here I have some white tape, because this is the white wire, this is the yellow wire. All of these connectors on this throttle mechanism are labeled. You have battery negative, battery plus, black, and then this one over here says white, this one says yellow, and this one says red. So all I did was reconnect all the wires from here, spliced into them, soldered them together, and ran them through here to the end of this connector. And then I took the female end connector, 4-pin connector, and ran the exact same color code of wires all the way through this part of the kayak on the inside. And I came through, you might be able to see from here, I'm not sure, but I came through the center area of that console right there. I drilled a hole from inside here. I'll show you right here where that is. Let me close this, open this part up, and get that open. And there's where the wires are coming out, to kind of give you an idea. And I wrapped them in tubing and zip tied them so that they sit in there nice and neat and they're not tangled up to anything. That way I can still use this compartment. So back to the throttle mechanism real quick. I took this handle, or bought this handle at a hardware store. I slipped it on top of the little shaft that comes out of the throttle mechanism. I drilled a hole through this handle and through the shaft of the throttle mechanism, and I put a cotter pin through there, and so that keeps these connected. So I can turn it reverse, 1 2 3, back to off, and then forward, 1 2 3 4 5, and everything works perfect. And then these wires here are the positive and negative for the battery that power the trolling motor itself. I put a 50 amp breaker in right here on the positive wire, and they're running through here also, and back to the underneath of that throttle mechanism. If you're interested at what kind of battery I'm using on this kayak, it is a Life PO4 battery, 12 volt, 60 amp hour. I think I have explained everything that I did. If I didn't, please ask questions in the comment section below before you turn off this video. If you're bored already, don't worry, there's going to be a water test here in just a couple minutes. We're going to go out to the lake and I'm going to drive around, and we're going to talk about battery power, how far our trip was, and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and head out to the lake and check that out. Alright, so I got the kayaks out here on the water. My wife's taking off right now, and I'm just going to go over a few things and then we're going to test it out on the water here. I got my battery meter right here. Right now we're at 100%. Got my GPS because I'm going to track how far we've gone, average speeds and all that. I'm going to put the battery to the test today. And I got the trolling motor back here and everything's ready. So let's go ahead and take off, guys, and see how this works. Alright, here we go. 5 speeds forward on this little trolling motor, and the steering is working out well. So there's speed 1, not traveling too fast. Let me grab my GPS and see where we're at. 1.8 miles an hour. Speed 2. 2 miles an hour. 2.1. Speed 3. Oh, before we go any further on the video, the wind is around 10 miles an hour today. Said there's going to be gusts of up to 20 miles an hour. Hopefully I don't run into any of that, but if I do, I'll let you know how this works. Right now we're traveling 2.6. Three. And we're at max speed right now. Sorry about the wind. And it looks like we're traveling about 4 miles an hour right now. Looks like we ended up getting a lot of wind. It's probably blowing right in our faces at 15 miles an hour is what I'm going to take a guess at. And my speed has slowed down to about 3.2 miles per hour. We have gone 2.30 miles and our average speed has been about 3.1 miles. It took us 45 minutes, the wind picked up back there pretty darn strong. It was probably blowing around 25 miles an hour right in our faces. So we're gonna hang out in this cove and test it out, see what we get. Right now my battery meter is reading 100%, so we're doing pretty good. And I'll see you guys at the end of our journey and fill you up on all the stats and everything that went on, how the experience was with this setup. I'll see you guys at the end of the video. Alright everybody, we made it back to the truck. We went a total of 8 miles. Average speed was about 3 miles per hour. The top speed that I reached on the kayak was about 4.2 miles an hour. So everything went well. Turns really sharp. I can sit here and turn 360-degree circles. Pretty nice. Everything else was good. Wires didn't seem to get hot when I felt on them, and my battery is at 88%. And most of that 8 miles, I'd say about 85% of that 8 miles was at full speed on the trolling motor. The wind finally calmed down, which was good, but most of the time the wind was about 10 to 25 miles per hour. Well, anyway, I hope that gives you a good idea on how the battery is going to last and how everything is going to go for you guys if you do a setup like this. I will see you guys in the next video. If you have any questions for me about this whole setup that I have, please leave them in the comment section below. I will get back with you on every question you ask. I try to answer all the comments and I read all the comments. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. If you know anybody that wants to do this, please share my videos. I'll see you in the next video. Later.